Just stepped off the 49ers practice field where for the first time got to see the springy De'Zhaun Stribling and all the other 49ers rookies. Quite the debut as, look at this, Levi Stadium getting ready for the World Cup. That's the FIFA banner heading up. But we're here to talk about football, Stribling and company. Good news on the Stribling front. He just signed his contract. We can get into that in a little bit, but that was quick. All business for the son of the former Marine. Made some nice grabs during today's light session, and we can also take a look at Kaelon Black, 49ers running back out of the University of Indiana, routing people up. You know, he routed some people up at the Senior Bowl, and this is awesome. The 49ers were sold on Kaelon Black when John Lynch and Patrick Willis teamed up to interview him. We just found out about the Patrick Willis part today, so here's Kaelon talking about two Hall of Famers helping the 49ers seal a deal in their minds.
Man, honestly, I just remember John Lynch being to my right and Pat Willis being to my left. That was the main thing that I really took, but that was one of the interviews that I do remember for that sole purpose. And then just the fact that, you know, how genuine the interview was of them trying to get to know me.
Did Pat Willis ask a lot of questions too?
Man, he didn't say a word. I just know he was there. His presence was there and I felt it.
Well, how cool is that? Might give you chills. Patrick Willis doesn't have to say a word, but his presence is felt, and it gives you an idea of how much Kaelon Black respects the game. Two Hall of Famers, he recognized their presence immediately, and obviously the interview went well with John Lynch and with Patrick Willis. Now, cool moment for Kaelon Black. The first pass that Kaelon Black caught was from Curtis Rourke, who was his college quarterback at Indiana. It was just like the old days with Curtis Rourke. Now, Rourke is a second-year player for the 49ers, and you could see him here putting on the helmets, getting ready to go. He was not able to play for San Francisco last season because he was on NFI recovering from a torn ACL. Therefore, still eligible for this rookie minicamp. Rourke, wearing the number 14, looked sharp today, and it was neat to see him connect with Kaelon Black. The 49ers have 4 Indiana Hoosiers on their roster. Not a bad idea. Indiana was 16-0 last year. Here are the 49ers' 2 O-line draft picks. Carver Willis, 74, and Enrique Cruz Jr., 69. You could already see the speed there from Cruz, the fastest offensive lineman in this past draft. Look at Romello height. 49ers pick at number 70. He's wearing number 94. That's a wide lower body. I think that Romello height has some good leg strength, and I don't think he's too light. That has been one of the worries with Romello height at 239 pounds. Here's Tryout, the tall cornerback out of Washington. Now, that's Jake Lynch there in the white shirt in the middle. Jake, John's son, was on staff at the University of Washington in 2024. Overlapped with Tryout. There's always a connection. Here is Khalil Dinkins, 82. That's the big tight end out of Penn State. Caught a couple passes today, intriguing. And then right after him, you see Mason Pline. He was with the 49ers last offseason, was back today as one of the many players trying out for a spot on this football team. All right, first chance to look at Chris Kaserik working with Grayson Halton. Big number 93, the defensive tackle. Couple other defensive tackles. James Thompson Jr.'s number 75 here you see working with Chris Kaserik. It was interesting because at the start of practice, only the defensive tackles worked with Chris Kaserik. The defensive ends like Romello height were working on special teams, which is a little bit of a change of process for the 49ers. After Thompson, you see Bryson Eason out of the University of Tennessee wearing the number 67 working with Chris Kaserik. Ultimately, though, all of those defensive linemen who were available today were working with Kaserik, and of course, we watched plenty of De'Zhaun Stribling and the hops. There you can see that in video version. Stribling springy. We know that he runs the 4.36 40. We know he had a good vertical jump. We know that De'Zhaun Stribling is an athlete today. It showed. The 49ers had a lot of tryout wide receivers out on the field today. De'Zhaun was leading all the drills along with Will Pauling, who is a very reliable college receiver. Came out of Notre Dame. He's more of a slot guy, a smaller guy. He's wearing number 4 for the 49ers. But anytime that you could be the most reliable wideout at a major college program, you're going to get looks at the NFL level. Now, obviously, Pauling is going to have to show that he can deliver without the physical attributes that somebody like De'Zhaun Stribling brings to the table. But I always think of last season, or the last couple seasons, the 49ers just straight straight up run out of wide receivers. You can never have too many capable bodies in that room. I know there's a lot of hand-wringing right now about the 49ers and how can they fit everybody on the 53-man roster at receiver, and it's like, guys, just recall back to 2025, recall back to 2024. This team could not get separation consistently, and because so many wide receivers were missing. So it's a position that the 49ers have stacked. I predicted that they would pick a receiver with their first selection. They did with De'Zhaun Stribling, and the good news that I talked about a little bit earlier, his contract. Signed, sealed, and delivered. 4 years, $13.5 million the total value, a signing bonus of $6.3 million, and a salary cap hit of only $2.5 million this year, all pre-slotted by the collective bargaining agreement. Now, if you remember, last year it took a long time for the 49ers second-round pick, Alfred Collins, to sign, and that's because last year was a watershed year for second-round contracts. The top two picks of the second round last year, number 33 and number 34, both negotiated fully guaranteed deals. And that meant that it took some time to figure out the rest of the second round, because previously fully guaranteed money had only been reserved for first rounders. Stribling went number 33 this year, very first pick of the second round. So precedent had already been set last year. And it's a good bet that his contract, the $13.5 million, is fully guaranteed, and there was no haggling needed because precedent was in place, and the 49ers are happy to have that business taken care of. They've also signed 6 of their 8 draftees total. So Kaelon Black, Carver Willis, Ephesians Prysock, Jaden Duggar, and Enrique Cruz Jr. have all put pen to paper with the 49ers. The last 2 remaining contracts that need to get done are for the defensive linemen, for Romello and Grayson Halton. Romello at pick number 70, Halton at pick number 107, so you've got a third and a fourth rounder. Maybe there's some talk of some more guarantees going to third rounders. Maybe that slows down some of those deals this year following the second round wave in 2025, or maybe that just gets done as is. Remember, all of these rookie deals are pre-slotted according to the rookie wage scale, so there isn't a lot of haggle room except for the guarantees, and the 49ers were able to get that done with De'Zhaun Stribling. As far as the practice portion of today, no full team drills. They weren't in pads, as you could see through some of the footage. They ran some passing league stuff. First pass of practice was Curtis Rourke to Khalil Dinkins, the tight end, undrafted free agent out of Penn State, who got $285,000 guaranteed in his UDFA contract. That's not nothing, and I think the 49ers clearly have an open spot to win a tight end. They've taken 4 tight ends most of the time in the past, and George Kittle also is recovering from a torn Achilles, so who even knows if he's going to be on the week 1 active situation for the 49ers. But even if he is, it's Kittle, it's Jake Tonjes, it's Luke Farrell. I think there's some questions surrounding Luke Farrell's play, and just even assuming that those 3 guys are on the inside of the picture for San Francisco, there still is one more spot beyond that potentially open, and maybe Khalil Dinkins. He caught a couple passes today. The reason that he's intriguing to me is he was behind Tyler Warren, the first-round pick of the Indianapolis Colts, on the Penn State depth chart. And then could have been a big reason why he didn't put up more college receiving production. But today showed nice hands, just a couple of short passes, but one was a bullet thrown in there on the far side out. And I think Khalil Dinkins also looks like he's got decent size. Of course, the 49ers like those tall tight ends, like strong tight ends, fast tight ends for blocking purposes. And good to see Mason Pline back out there again. The converted basketball player, right? He started playing football really late. Didn't end up making the 49ers team last year. I believe he ended up signing with the New Orleans Saints. Obviously didn't stick there, but trying out for the 49ers again with a little bit of an opening at the tight end position. A lot of tryout guys today. Omari Porter, a cornerback from Rice, had a nice pass breakup, and we'll see if the 49ers end up signing anybody off of the tryout. Typically, that does not happen, but this is a good opportunity to get your name in the 49ers Rolodex, because as we know, guys go down over the course of a football season, and the 49ers will often be making some calls to make sure that the roster is filled throughout the year. Preston Stone was the other quarterback today. I know that Curtis Rourke on the 49ers roster threw the ball Preston Stone out of Northwestern, wearing the number 17, also handled some QB duty at practice. So now, after this mini camp, the 49ers rookies obviously will continue strengthening. They're coming off of the college testing circuit. You do things a little bit differently for the NFL Combine and all the pro days. A lot of guys lighter than they're going to be during the season, so you're going to see a lot of weightlifting happening, a lot of muscling up happening over the next few weeks, and OTAs are coming toward the end of May. That means that the 49ers veterans will all be back in the building. I know Mike Evans has already been around for the 49ers. Other guys have already been around as well. But San Francisco is going to gear up for some team-wide practices that will also feature Trent Williams. He should be in the building for OTAs this year with his contract signed. And 49ers will hope for close to perfect attendance, or maybe even 100% perfect attendance, as they head toward June, which will feature mandatory veteran minicamp. I don't think that there are any contractual situations right now for the 49ers that we know of, so we will expect most of everybody to be here over the course of the next month or so, and then San Francisco will head into the truly dead part of the offseason ahead of training camp. So today was all about getting acclimated to the rookies on the field and the rookies getting acclimated to the team facility. I have to say that, Jauan Jennings signed his contract with the Minnesota Vikings yesterday. De'Zhaun Stribling wears the number 15 well for San Francisco. Romello wears the 94 well that used to belong to Yetur Gross-Matos for the 49ers. And then Kaelon Black, as we saw, has the number 26. That was Chase Lucas's old number for San Francisco. And then just talking to Kaelon Black, and we could play the interview here at the end, you notice just how wide the upper body is, broad-chested, really strong arms, somebody who you could see why the contact balance is as good as it was in college and should be good at this level as well. You can see why he's a good pass protector. He's built like a rock. We talked about the squat of 515 pounds, the bench of 400 pounds. Well, the frame definitely matches those metrics for Kaelon Black. Anyway, here's an interview with the 49ers running back, who might even be the favorite right away to be running back 2 behind Christian McCaffrey. Oh, and right before we play it, find out one more look at that World Cup banner going up here at Levi Stadium. In fact, we can kind of frame it here with the 49ers helmet. I'm stepping out into the road. I don't know if this is a smart idea, but everything for the shot, right? World Cup coming to Levi Stadium, but we had a good football today.
How was your first practice?
It was fun. I was just glad to be back out there on the field. I'm just real blessed to, be a pro now, and I'm looking forward to, taking a step further.
What was it like going to the locker room the first time, getting your jersey, all of that?
Man, it's just a huge blessing. I was just so surprised and just was really trying to take it all in. They put my locker right next to Fred Warner, so I was just like I said, it's real. So I'm really here, and I'm just ready to ball.
What do you think about your fit with the 49ers?
I feel like I'm a great fit, man. I have a lot of confidence in my abilities to play, and I'm just looking forward to growing with guys like CMC and Jordan James and Garindo. So we're just looking forward to doing this thing together as a team and taking it a step further.
You're at JMU and you catch a bunch of passes the first 2 years. Same coaching staff goes to Indiana, and you don't. What changed? With that move to Indiana?
Yeah, man. I would just say it was more so like a scheme thing in terms of. We had a lot of receivers that could catch the ball. Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, Charlie Becker, Jonathan Brady, E.J. Williams, all those guys catching the ball. Anytime Fernando threw it to them, they was catching it. So, it wasn't really too much of a use for us, in the pass game, but we could do it. The ability is there. We have the confidence to do it.
John Lynch has said that the interview with you at the Senior Bowl is what really sold him. Do you remember anything in particular from that interview?
Man, honestly, I just remember John Lynch being to my right and Pat Willis being to my left. That was the main thing that I really took. But that was one of the interviews that I do remember for that sole purpose. And then just the fact that, how genuine the interview was of them trying to get to know me.
Did Pat Willis ask a lot of questions too?
Man, he didn't say a word. I just know he was there. His presence was there, and I felt it.
You had a chance to catch more passes at the Senior Bowl. Were you happy that you were able to do that there?
Yes, definitely. Just my love for the game. I love the game of football so much. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to really showcase my skills and showcase the things that people say that hasn't really been shown like that the past 2 years. So, like I said, it's been there, and the opportunity to go to the Senior Bowl was a blessing.
Do you have any 49ers vets reach out to you yet?
Man, you know, CMC, Fred Warner, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and then my old IU teammate Curtis Rourke. Yeah, he was the first one to reach out, so I was just like, it's here now. What they say.
Yeah, they're not the two aren't the only IU guys here.
Yeah, we got CJ too, and then McCall, so it's just like, it's gonna be great to, you know, be around the guys again, make it a little bit more comfortable. But I feel like, you know, with this great organization that I'm a part of now, I feel like it's gonna be easy to, you know, get comfortable.
Did Curtis throw the first pass you caught today?
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. That was just like old times, man. Just like old times.
What was your mindset with all the information, the new information coming at you today?
Man, just to learn, take it all in, and then, you know, you go back and watch the film and you get better. That's the only way that you will get better, is to watch it back and, you know, just stay focused. It's gonna be a lot at once, but eventually, you know, as you look through things and, you know, you stay the course and you don't just, you know, get too worried about, you know, too much, then you'll be good.
From the outside, it seems like the number 2 tailback role is open. Has that been, is that how you see it? Has that been sort of explained to you?
Honestly, we haven't even really gotten to talk to that. It's just more so about, you know, you going out there and working hard each and every day. You just maximizing your skills and showcasing what you can do, so your teammates and coaches can have trust in you.
Got time for a couple more, guys.
How much did communication with Bobby Turner pick up since you were drafted?
Man, it's picked up a lot. You know, we got straight into meetings and, you know, just making sure that I'm picking up on the details so I'm ready to go as soon as the vets come back.
How much did you know about him before you started getting kind of recruited by him?
Honestly, I didn't know much, but then when I started to do my research, I was like, yeah, he got a good track record. He done been on some great teams and part of some great organizations, so I'm just looking forward to learning more from him.
What's your Grayson say?
Oh yeah, this says, in Jesus' name I play, and I gotta trust the process, and then I gotta stay humble. Just things that I live by, you know, to keep me grounded, you know, and just making sure that I just stay focused through the whole process, man. I'm real process oriented, you know, even coming from Indiana, you know, being with Coach Netti, which is one of those things where I apply that to my everyday life, and now that I'm a pro, it's all that matters, is being detailed.